I'll bear it in mind.
You're watching or
Back
listening to?
off.
You are watching or listening to Strangers in Space, and in this edition, we are going to be talking about the first two episodes of the War Between the Land and the Sea, so you don't have to.
I'd like to apologise to anybody who heard that.
Everybody heard that.
Ex pupils.
Oh no, they'll expect it.
I yes, I did that. I did that thing, didn't I?
What's
That
that?
I said I'm about to press the record button now, Steve. So please don't say fuck or bugger. I'm JR.
I'm Joe. Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Steve, much to my shame.
Yeah, and much to all of our shame, thanks to that intro. And now there's no way I can edit it either because we can't stop talking about it and laughing about it.
Can you
We
do it
could
again,
just
Steve,
we
but
could
this
just
time in
stop.
German?
We could, I could do it in Italian very easily.
Oh,
Vaffanculo.
was that Italian or double
Yeah,
Dutch?
that was Italian. You know, it would be much nicer just to stop this recording and start again.
It would be, but it's not
But you're not
happening.
going to do that, are
It's
you?
No,
JR.
this is the best podcast we've had so far this year.
JR prefers it raw, as we all know.
That is, yes, that is absolutely the case. Right, the war between the land and the sea. We've got two of the five episodes. I've got to say, a man standing in the room talking to an alien in a tank. It's Torchwood Children of Earth all over again, isn't it?
Is it the same place as well? No,
Yeah, I
because
believe it is.
yeah.
They
Wasn't that
said they
blown
were
up?
they said they were reusing sets, weren't they? I didn't realize the tank is what they were talking about, but essentially that is basically it, isn't it?
Well, the brilliant writer Paul Ebbs, who's a friend, has already dubbed this damp Torchwood, and I like that. That's
It's not quite that miserable yet. I think
well,
It's
maybe
not
not.
much of a play on words, though. Come on, this guy's a professional author. He can do better than that.
Okay, I think that's rather good. Damp
I think it's
Torchwood.
I think it's much better than Torchwood.
So do I.
That
Yes,
is
it
a low
is much better
bar.
than Torchwood. Surely Moistwood would be better, because
Although
that's
talk
almost
that,
an anagram too.
did you see
Yeah.
Yanto's shrine got flooded the other day?
Did it?
Ah,
Yeah,
Well, there you go.
storms out there. So
That's
the war between Torchwood and
has,
the war between land and the sea.
has it washed it away?
No, it's still there, mostly the
Ah,
same.
shame.
but they have redubbed it Damp Torchwood.
Ah, there we are.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
it's going.
The war between the land and the sea. Then we all gave a slight opinion. Then, so apart from John. So John, I'm coming to you for a slightly less slight opinion. This is a fucking terrible episode of the podcast, isn't it?
Oh, do you want a
Frankly,
critical thing on the podcast we're doing already? Yeah, it's
I
all.
don't know whether we
I
really
mean,
should go back and
this is the
start again, but we
simplest
I,
this
ain't.
is the
I,
simplest subject. We're simply reviewing an episode of a television series. We're not having to make anything up on the fly.
No.
And yet,
And yeah,
uh,
it's all gone to hell already. John,
yeah.
what's your tuppence worth about the war between the land and the sea? Episodes one and two, we've seen just over a
um,
third of it.
broadly, I thought it kind of Russell T kind of tendency that was in the attack, Rise of Cyberman Age of Steel, where he had the comedy of that everyman being this suddenly finding this world shattering role. I wasn't quite convinced that. Wasn't quite convinced Russell Toby, but I thought it went up a notch in episode two. So I'm quite happy to come back for episode three and four, even if I didn't have to do it for this podcast.
I've got to say, yeah, I'm sort of in the same place. In the first episode in particular, I had a bunch of caveats, which were not really to do with the quality of the story, but more to do with the quality of the way the story was brought to the screen. And I guess I'll get into a few of those. I've got to say, where I stand now, I quite enjoyed the first two episodes. But to be honest, if I was somehow prevented from watching episodes three, four, and five, I don't think I'd miss them, frankly. So I'm very much on the fence. Matt,
I think the promise of going down to the
Beach?
sea devil base.
Okay.
I think that is the thing that lures me to more episodes. The fact that I think the I liked Russell Tovey. I like the fact I think I prefer it because it's not a Doctor Who character. It's
It's a
Yeah.
new character, and that works for me. I was worried coming up to it that it was, as we've said on previous reviews of RTD, it was going to be people stood in the car park having a conversation, then people stood in the big room. And I think they actually disguised that quite well. The first episode had a particular setting and there was sort of exterior scenes. The second episode was rightly mostly set in this kind of negotiating chamber, which was big and spectacular, and I like the effect of the tank. And it sounds like they're going to move location again, so I kind of appreciate the fact that it is changing the look and feel. It looks
It's
expensive.
doing a Terry Nation.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
looks more expensive than Doctor Who does on screen, I think, to
Or
me.
in fact, no, it's not doing a Terry Nation. It's doing a Baker and Martin, isn't it? Bristol Boys. This is the Claws of Axos all over again.
Well,
It is, isn't it? It's the Claws of Axos meets Children of Earth.
I mean, it's kind of doing what normal dramas you'd hope normal dramas do, which is sort of, film in different in different places and expand from that.
Yes, I think you're right. And actually, I want to dig into that a little bit because I think maybe that's why I'm a bit ambivalent about it. So, but Steve, what's your
Uh,
in a nutshell?
well, we've seen 40% of it so far, and
Yeah, yeah,
I still can't make up my mind,
yeah, yeah.
which I think is a bit worrying because I think it needed a really big impact right from the start. And I've seen lots of very positive comments from lots of people who had been a bit down on Doctor Who. So clearly it's having an effect on some people, which is great. I think there were one or two of the acting performances were shockingly poor. And others were, yeah, I really do. I mean, I really respect Colin McFarlane as an actor. He's done some great stuff, but I thought he was awful.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm sort of coming to the conclusion that Ruth Madeley's pretty dreadful as well,
Mm.
which is a shame because she's a likable personality. But
And Russell
hey,
Tovey. Okay, let's dig in a bit further. Russell Tovey. Let's talk about Russell Tovey for a bit. I think generally he's a great actor.
mm,
I, but something weird is happening here where he seems to have been told, you are playing the everyman and you're this guy who's out of his depth. And at first, the script completely avoids that because he wants to give you that as a surprise halfway through the first episode. So then it springs it on you halfway through the first episode. And from that point, he goes from not mentioning it at all to not being able to stop mentioning it,
yeah,
almost as if something's triggered his Tourette's or something.
Is it nerves?
no.
That
Well,
seems kind of
but,
I thought he was good.
but,
I thought he was
but that was
fine.
But that was my
But
preamble before saying, but he seems to have chosen that in order to portray this everyman, he has to utterly underplay everything. And I can't hear a word he's saying. Honestly, I've got the subtitles on
There's
and
a
I'm thinking,
sound
are these the actual words?
there's a sound mix issue, and I've
Yeah,
heard
but
this
I
from
think
other
it's
people,
also,
but it's the music and the
is
dialogue.
is
I
that a
assume
question
it's
of how people have the telly set?
no, I
Is
think
that
it's also in the performance because he is speaking.
okay?
It's not
It's
just it is the
I
sound mix, but it's not just the sound mix, I don't think.
I
I
think
thought he
it's how
I
Russell
thought he
T
was
Davies
one
has
of
his
the
stuff.
I thought
Generally,
he was
isn't it?
one of the good things. Yeah, yeah, it is. I thought he was one of the good things about it. But his performance reminded me a bit of his performance in Being Human a good few years
Yeah.
ago, where he's the young, innocent everyman type who discovers he's a werewolf. I thought George, the werewolf. I thought he was quite not bad, but he's showing his range here, isn't he? Because he's playing, he's playing straight, well, which I think probably the last time he played a straight character was in Being Human.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
yeah, he's showing his
I
range.
think I
I
think I'd so Steve said that there wasn't anything spectacular that hooked in the first two episodes. I think if you're not, I think for the general viewer there is, because I think you don't get, you know, rain of plastic raining down and the Titanic
Mm.
landing in New York. If you're a Doctor Who fan watching it, you're thinking, okay,
But
well,
that's like
but
in
if
the
you're
middle
a
of the second
second
episode.
episode,
yeah,
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 yeah.
but again, even sort of helicopters and
But
aliens,
if
that
we
shot of the Sea Devil being strung up in the room,
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
really good looking
it's
yeah,
a
shots, and
question of the weird
that's
tone they're
true.
taking, though, isn't it? They do have this stuff, that does look as if it should be spectacular, but they seem to have chosen this weird tone.
Well, I think half the tone comes from Russell Tove's performance because
Yeah,
I think I think it's the way it's written as well because it's written in the first half. You're not quite sure to see him as comedy or drama, and I think that's a really awkward role for anyone to play, let alone Russell. So you.
And Russell T Davies can't avoid doing the celebrity cameo, can he? And in this case, it's the Titanic. Because of all the hundreds of thousands of ships that are beneath the Atlantic, the one that ends up in the middle of New York is the Titanic. Of course it is. Of course it is. Because people have heard of it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's a
celebrity
shorthand.
cameo. Celebrity cameo.
I mean, that's lifted straight from Ghostbusters too, isn't it?
Is it? I forgot. It's a long time
Like
since
the
I saw that.
Titanic docks in New York and all the ghosts come off it.
All right. Okay.
And yes, it's also a shorthand to say all the ships are up, and we've got to show you one that you know, because otherwise, what would be the point? They're not going to bring up some boat that got sunk in Starcross Harbour in 1957. They're going to bring up the Titanic, aren't they?
It didn't matter though. It didn't need to be the Titanic. It was just a shipwreck that was plonked in the middle of New York.
And
yeah,
also,
but the Admiral Donuts isn't going to make any kind of headline.
Do
Like that,
you know, it's a daft thing to fall out with it about, isn't it? Really.
But also, I think there's a case to be made that it's important it is the Titanic because seeing the Titanic is saying to the viewer, this is more than just plastic bags that are coming down.
Oh, okay.
We've seen an anchor, but then you start thinking about ships, and you use Titanic as a shorthand to say, if the Titanic has been thrown onto land, then every ship has been thrown. If you just saw
it's
a yacht,
like
or
did they say
it's like in Death in Heaven when the Brigadier turns up as a Cyberman. That's saying to the audience, every dead human.
Did they say the Mary
Cyberman.
Rose came up as well?
The Mary Rose, so that's already up, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's already up.
It's already up.
Sorry, Matt.
I don't think they did the Mary Rose.
I didn't catch it. I
Yeah.
didn't catch that.
Because the Mary Rose is famously
in a museum in Portsmouth.
We took it out of the water ourselves, so they didn't have to.
And they've tried to take
the rest of them.
Yes, and War Between the Land and the Sea has gone where James Cameron couldn't go, and where who was it who made Raise the Titanic?
Lou Grade.
Oh, Lou Grade.
Lou Grade, Lou Grade couldn't go. Everybody's tried to raise the Titanic. Russell T Davies has managed it.
Yeah.
But he didn't match the logo.
And Roger Moore was in there, wasn't he, as well, in the film Raise the Titanic?
I mean, lowering the Atlantic might still happen. It's the sort of thing that episode 4 would feature as a retaliation.
Yeah. pulling an enormous plug out.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those things where you can't see how it's going to end until you get there. But coming back to Russell Tovey, but yes, because I think it's like set up such a huge consequential confrontation that it's hard to see how they get out of this, without completely resetting the rules of engagement for the future of this universe. But we'll come back at the end of episode 5 and talk about that. Coming back to Russell Tovey, the other thing that's changed in the meantime between here and Being Human, and you're right, it is essentially the same performance, and in Being Human I think he gets away with it because he kind of looks a bit like a sort of callow teenager or early 20 something. Here he just looks ridiculously buffed up, and I don't for 1 second believe any of that stuff at the start of the story where his wife thinks he's going off to an office job. Not in a million years is he going off to an office job. And if I was his wife, and thank God I'm not, I wouldn't be convinced for a second. So the suspension of disbelief was right on the verge, I think, at the start. He's a good actor, and he carries you through. But I just didn't know where he was pitching his performance.
I think potentially he has the excuse me, John, the Gavin and Stacey charisma for the average Sunday evening viewer.
Oh, he's in that, isn't he? Yeah,
I think they'll see
that.
Russell Tovey, vaguely recognise him, appreciate the fact that he goes to the gym every day, and also accept that he's a kind of a cheeky, charming everyman out of his depth. and I just think that will be an attraction to. I think
Yes.
a lot of things here, most things here, are an attraction to the non-Doctor Who viewer.
Well, this is it. So this is the sort of central question about who is this for and how is it being picked up. And it's on a Sunday evening. And they've kind of said, right, it's on a Sunday evening. So if you don't like Doctor Who, you'll be fine with it. And then it walks this weird tightrope between being acceptable Sunday evening entertainment to people who like detective shows and being part of the Doctor Who universe. So it throws all these sci-fi concepts in, which I don't think would go down well with a Sunday evening audience, but then gives you a family drama, which probably would. And then it talks about the Doctor a lot in a
In a
very
lot.
reverential way, which I don't think is going to be sold to a non-Doctor Who audience, because Doctor Who at the moment is something that's being sort of panned in the press, and it's become a bit of a sort of whipping boy, a bit of a ridicule of a series. So I think it's kind of chosen this weird tightrope to walk, and I don't think it's a wise choice.
I don't think so. I think putting sci-fi out where you'd normally have crime drama is doing something different. It's trying to push the envelope and
But that
be
audience
appealing.
doesn't like different
I
things.
don't think it particularly referenced Doctor Who that much.
In the first scene where he's in the car
Yes.
and he witters on for a good 5 minutes about the time he met the Doctor and how
he
extraordinary.
mentions the Doctor, but that's in the context of building his character. I mean, I don't
But why
think
does his character have to be built out of the Doctor? Why can't he just be a
well,
character?
it's not built out of the Doctor, but that part I think was as much about building his character. And I I don't think it's directed at people who have watched Doctor Who, but people who recognize the concept of Doctor Who, which must be most viewers at this stage. They won't be watching not knowing Doctor Who at all. But I think it's acceptable. I think that he balances the fact that it is a Doctor Who spin-off with being a sort of an independent Sunday night drama, and in a way that's quite attractive to people. I don't think they're going to be put off by, and they promoted the series, making it clear that you don't need to have seen Doctor Who in order to see it. It's not particularly heavily branded as Doctor Who spin-offs. It's only us who watch interviews with Russell T Davies and us who have been anticipating it. And plus, I don't think Doctor Who's been panned in the press that much. I think actually the reviews have been pretty good of the past couple of series. It's just podcasts.
Oh yeah, but who? I'm not talking
down on
about
it.
reviews though, Matt. I'm talking
Well, that's-
about the sort of general appraisal of Doctor Who in the
Isn't that
press.
that's a problem for everything these days, because it's the negative reviews will get the traction, will get the headlines, and you could find any of them on social media if you look at them.
Yeah, but I
There's
think
no way around
I
it.
think the reviews I've seen of Doctor Who have been
Not reviews.
Well-
I'm not talking about reviews.
well.
I'm talking about the
press has
Daily
been-
Mail and Daily
yeah,
Mirror
the
cover
press has been
stories.
mostly about the BBC
Yes.
Well, no, there's-
about the Disney stuff, but not specifically about the quality of Doctor
No.
Who.
Well, it's a general attack. It's a general attack on what they on wokeness, exactly, on
Yes.
what they call wokeness.
And that's the impression that a lot of people pick up, and then the headlines are crashing viewing figures and a
Yeah.
Doctor who didn't work and walked away
Yeah,
or was
yeah.
pushed out the door,
Yeah.
and Billy
And so it's-
Piper's back cast as who knows what, and the
Yeah.
whole thing's become a laughing stock.
And so it seems perfectly reasonable that a TV series where Russell T Davies is being out and out woke about pollution does reference Doctor Who, that's being criticised by the right-wing press as being part of the BBC institution. It's a kind of an unashamed, rebuttal against the right-wing press.
I've had people comment to me about the fact that Doctor Who's gone downhill, but not from people who've watched Doctor Who, but from people who've read comments about it on the internet or in the press, whatever. Oh, it's gone down, hasn't it? It's been cancelled, hasn't it? Oh, and he's left, hasn't it? Oh, it's not coming back anytime soon. From people who are even less informed than we are about it.
And this is the point. We live in a bubble, and it's only
Yeah,
when
we
we
do,
hear
yeah.
from outside the bubble that we get to you know, understand how people see it in the wider world.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think outside of the bubble, people are going to accept this independently from Doctor Who.
I'm
Very
not
I think
sure.
possibly.
outside of the bubble, pretty much people aren't aware of the criticism of Doctor Who. I don't think it's a big thing. I think it's a big thing for us in the bubble.
No,
I'm seeing a lot
outside
of
of the bubble.
comments about. I'm seeing a lot of comments saying, "Oh, this is better than any Doctor Who for the 5, 6 years." I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, this
I've
is
seen a lot of those comments.
better than when Doctor Who became a lady, probably.
Yeah.
And that was probably, yeah. But then you get the woke stuff about, and yes, this is another slightly strange thing about it, is that it's kind of tied its premise to the mast of the sort of the plastic in the oceans thing, which was fashionable about 5 years ago. When was Praxeus? That was just on the back of
It was
that.
2020, wasn't it?
And that
Yeah.
wave of the culture war has broken across the shore many years ago, and people have moved on since
Well,
then. And yes, it's not that it's not an ongoing concern, but it seems to.
I suspect the source is more the rivers are being polluted, which is a current concern, but that doesn't make a globe-trotting sci-fi story. So
No, that was
so
very
they
explicitly brought into it, wasn't
yeah,
it?
they tackled the pollution in the rivers, but in order
Yeah.
to make it a global story, you have to look at the ocean, and plastic in the ocean is still it hasn't just gone away. It's not
No,
like
it's
an
not
in
gone
vogue, out
away.
of vogue thing. So I
Also,
think in general, it's water pollution in general, which is in
and
vogue because
and if
of
you're
the
bringing it up, it's Pete
North
McTighe
Atlantic.
again doing that. He was doing
Well,
it
yeah.
5 years ago. So
Yeah,
But the problem, but yes, you're right. But the problem is there aren't any sea devils where the river pollution is. The sea devils are only in the ocean.
but I think that's a great bit about it because the sea devils are claiming the rivers and the lakes as well.
yeah,
Yes.
That's the
And
really
the air.
I think that's a brilliant moment where you realize actually it's not just the sea that they're
Yes.
claiming. They're actually claiming all waterways.
On the water.
Yes.
And the air above it.
And also, even if the plastic pollution is out of vogue, that's a reason for the whole idea of war between the land and the sea. You bring it back into vogue.
Well,
It-
yes, but then the way
Well,
it
you don't
ties
have
it
to
to the rivers
you don't have
where
to
you don't
reflect.
get, but the way it ties it to the rivers where you don't get sea devils, and then makes it about the sea where you do, and there's two different things going on there. One is plastic pollution, the other one is sewage pollution, and then the way it says right, and now we want all the seas and all the air.
But
So
don't we find it
it
exciting that it does tie it to the seas and the
no, I
lakes
think it's gone too far.
where you don't get sea devils because it suggests that that's where they want to be. That's where they want to be. And the air again, airspace over the sea. That's kind of this amazing sort of well, yeah, obviously countries have airspace. So if they're claiming the sea, they claim the air above the sea as their territory as well. And then you start to think, how do they control airspace? And that starts to what RTD's doing is he's actually building a kind of a civilization for the sea devils, which we haven't realized exists because we've all thought the sea devils live in the sea, but they want the lakes, they want the rivers, they want the airspace. That's actually expanding this idea, and I found that those bits genuinely quite exciting.
so are there saltwater sea devils and freshwater sea devils?
Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, it's doing something unexpected. It's not just saying this is about the sea. This is about the relationship between land and water.
You're not getting away with it just because you're in Birmingham, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going down the canal. The
Or
Grand Union.
or a country in the middle of Africa or
The
you know,
Congo.
yeah.
The Zambezi.
But I'm afraid for me, it just was too much. It's Russell T Davies pushing it as far as you can possibly push it to the point at which, as a viewer, I just go, right, there's no threat here anymore because we know this isn't going to play out. And so, I mean, if it was a smaller threat, that I would feel more tension in the fact that this could have consequences. But the threat accelerated to such a degree already that you just know there can't be consequences.
I
And if
don't
they,
know. I think that the storm of litter and of plastic and of the Titanic,
Yeah.
and probably somewhere sewage for going there.
oh yeah, yeah,
Um, that kind of does sell the scale. And Russell T Davies wants big mo. Russell T Davies tends to work on that bigger scale.
oh yeah, they've got the money to sell the scale. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is they've sold the scale, and I'm just thinking, yeah, but that plastic isn't staying there. I just
Well,
don't
no, but,
believe it.
but,
I
but this
just
is why
Yeah.
this
I
is why I
lost
was
my
kind of
suspension of disbelief, I think, a bit during that second episode.
no,
I
I'm
thought.
not
I mean, I
convinced,
love
I mean,
either. No,
Great.
I'm not convinced. Yeah.
there's a question of how they pushed all the plastic out of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I briefly wondered that, and then I accepted that actually
Yeah,
the spectacle is worth the
but
is
I
They're
just
all armed with catapults.
I
also
guess I just felt it was a bit incoherent as a story. I like the ideas of it, and I like a lot of what's in it,
Yeah.
but it just didn't feel coherent as a
It's got a lot of
story.
work to do in the next three
I
episodes to pull
really
this
liked
together.
I really liked in the same episode as the plastic raining down, I think, the fact that they open with the glass of river water, the
Yeah.
glass of river water
Hmm,
moment
Yeah.
that
where
was
they sort of
great.
analyze the thing. And that's starting off with a sort of small scale and making the point, and then the point sort of very rapidly
Yeah.
snowballs from there. And I think what we're dealing with is each episode is going to have some sort of build up towards some grand scale event or some imagery or some concept, and that's the second episode one. And as I said, the fact that he's now going to turn into Aquaman and be taken down into their world,
Well, you
that
think, but
suggests something that suggests episode 3, 4.
Yeah. But
but
like I
you
say, I think it's got a lot of pulling together to do over these next three episodes to actually get these good ideas, tie them up
Yeah,
into something
I mean,
as a
I'm not
whole.
hopeful for the climax or the conclusion
No,
because, as JR suggested, he's gone big, he's gone global, he's gone big. So the
yeah,
conclusion, there are only so many things you can do
But
with the
then,
conclusion. But then,
but with Doctor Who spin-offs, Russell James has done two previously, which was on Children of Earth, Miracle Day, and he went big early in both of those as well.
yes, yes.
So,
Uh,
and
uh,
Children
and
of
then,
Earth, whatever you think, was a coherent ending to how it wanted to tell the
yeah,
story.
I think
and
that's
of
what I'm
course,
hoping.
it's gonna have to end with Russell Tovey's character, his daughter, doing something heroic to save the Earth at the end, because the annoying kid
and
will have
die.
to come good before the
If
end. Well,
Children
might
of
die.
Earth is
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
to go
yeah.
by,
Might
she
die.
sacrifices herself for the
She'll either
race.
die or she'll do something massively heroic
Well,
to
no,
save the world.
they'll probably go medieval, and it will be a human character ends up staying with the Sea Devils,
Oh
and the
yeah.
Sea Devil
Oh
character
yeah.
ends up staying with the humans as a kind of an adoption,
Well, there's this.
A
hostage scheme,
diplomacy.
and they end up kind of yeah
It's
doing a
almost an embassy
diplomatic thing. It's
each
kind
year.
of Game of Thrones.
There's
Well,
this sort of
it's Russ.
simmering reptilian sexual tension with Gugu and Battle, isn't there? With Russell Tovey.
Yeah,
See, I
that's the
What
thought
did we
romance
think of
that's coming.
her? I thought she was rather good, but a bit wasted.
Well, she's
I don't
playing
mean
it.
she was wasted when she played the part. I mean she was wasted.
Well,
That
she's
was
only
not,
been
not
given. She's only been given
yeah.
one note so far, hasn't
She
she?
has, hasn't
So
she?
she's
Yeah,
not done. She's just
yeah.
played one note so
That's
far in the
right.
performance. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but
she's done it really well. But
yeah,
I thought those scenes were probably the best things about the episode, to be honest. I really liked the way, when they're telling Russell to stick to the script,
yeah,
and you've got that tension there, and it's really good at the kind of the dead language that diplomats, officials have to use,
yeah.
and then the struggle to not use that language. I thought it was really
That was
nice and
fun.
tense.
That was fun.
I wasn't.
Kate, how
I
annoying
wasn't.
is Kate?
all right, Steve,
Not the.
stop moving us on. We're talking about Gugu and Bartha
Oh,
Roy.
Sorry,
We'll come to Kate in a
I
sorry.
was
minute.
about to talk about Kate Lethbridge Stewart and how
Well, let's talk
I
about
wasn't
her and Unit in
convinced
a
by her
second.
relationship.
All right.
I want
Whoa.
to talk about Salt, the character of Salt, for a minute. And so,
Oh yeah.
but because we're there, so let's do that, and then we'll talk about Unit afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So there's no explanation for why she's different from the other Sea Devils. and how she can morph her appearance.
Is
I'm
it
a
more, or is it a morph of gender as well? Because that, it's bringing transitions
Well,
as well here.
Yes, but when she morphs her gender, it's not just a gender that changes, is it? It changes more than that, which might just be a
Yeah.
facility of having another actor to
I
morph
think
between.
they kind of explain it by giving, so there's those sequences where they give every sort of subspecies a Latin name, and so it's suggesting that the fish guards are one species, the sea devil, the Homo aqua are another, and then salt is another species of sea devil, and they sort of use the Latin names as a sort of shortcut. Oh, who's this? Oh, this is
Yes.
Homo
Oh no, that's fine, but
sapien
she's part
aqua.
fish, part mammal, and I don't know if she is part fish, part mammal. I mean, that's probably again just a facility of the makeup job, but they have presented us with somebody who's part fish, part mammal.
Yeah.
I
She's
think
supposed to be reptilian, isn't she?
well, she's supposed to be, but she's not, is she? Clearly. So
No.
she's got teeth in gums
Well,
and a tongue.
but she
Yeah.
changes gender like certain reptiles. So I
Well,
think
yes,
that's
this is it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we're going to get an explanation for that.
yeah.
And I also find, because I think, so the reason that for the production reason that they've done that is obviously so that they can put an actor in there. And not just that you get to see the actor's face, but in order for there to be any kind of tension or relationship between the fish person and the human person, you have to be able to see those actors relating to each other. So there's a production reason they've done it. But just as a viewer, I'm just left confused by the difference. So you've got fish, then reptiles, then a mammal
Oh,
as a
those
reptile.
big giant fish. What's the point? What they reminded me of was the Mighty Titans pet fish in Stingray, Toyful.
I think
I was like,
Yeah.
I think they're probably going for the Aquaman audience, because doesn't
Yes.
Aquaman have this kind of, I mean, it's very much got this sort of civilization where you have like humanoid figures and then fish guards and various other
right.
things. So
Aquaman,
I
and
think
the Submariner.
I
Yeah.
think your average viewer wouldn't be thrown by the fact that there are different looking sea life. Your Doctor Who viewer is probably still struggling to get over the fact they don't look like the Sea Devils from
Yes.
Legend of the Sea Devils,
Yeah. But I think
Or the Sea Devils.
but I think that
Mm.
DC viewer would want something a bit more dynamic. It's not very dynamic, is it? It hasn't been so far. It's been a sort of, well, I hesitate to even say creeping. It's just, I mean, there've been a moment in each episode, but apart from
yeah.
like one moment in each episode,
I
it's been very undynamic.
I don't think as a
No.
whole the TV series is trying to compete with DC, but I think
No,
that
not
concept
compete, but appeal to the audience of.
Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, we're 40% through this already, and there's quite a lot happened, but at the same time, it feels as if not very much has happened. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot has, but
I mean, I do question: have you seen TV series before? I mean, they do operate like this.
Well, not
It's
all,
not going to
but
try and be a DC movie
fair
or a
comment.
kind of a fast-paced thing. If you watch Line of Duty, not much happens for the first two episodes, and then suddenly you get a gunfight in the third one.
Hey,
And
you could
Line
do
of
yes,
Duty is the most successful TV series in the
but it's a
last
different
however long.
kind of thing.
Alternatively,
Yeah.
the current Star Wars series, nothing
Yeah.
happens for 6 episodes.
So what I've got to do is I've got to make comparisons, like broad comparisons, without it being seen as complete comparisons. Yes, it's not Line of Duty, it's not a DC movie.
But I think that's the
But
problem,
there are
Matt.
viewers of DC movies that for certain bits of this they wouldn't be put off. But it's not necessarily going to appeal to people who only like DC movies or only like Line of Duty episodes. However, there are bits of this that would be recognizable to Line of Duty viewers or DC viewers, and I'm going to suggest that there are people that watch DC movies, Line of Duty, Doctor Who, and this all all at once, and they'd
Yes,
be perfectly happy with all of
the
them.
point is, all of those other programs commit to being a thing. I think this just feels flabby, like it wants to be all sorts of different things to all sorts of different people, and I just don't know what this is. It just feels like this nothing of a. It feels a bit like a. It's entertaining enough, but it just feels like a nothing of a program to me.
I don't agree. I think it's got a really strong moral message that it
Yeah.
kind of hits home. It's got an A to B to C plot. It's the story of an everyman. There's a romance beckoning. I mean, I think if anything, Russell T Davies is very good at kind of creating a fairly simple standard story with iconography that won't put your average viewer off.
Yeah, and I mean, you go back to Children of Earth. A lot of that is Peter Capaldi negotiating with the 456. So this is very much like that, and I think
Very
it's
much
going
like
roughly
that.
the same pace.
I was
Yeah,
just
but
Not quite as
look-
nihilistic
I-
yet.
I was just surprised to the degree of which, after seeing the two episodes, I just couldn't make up my mind what I thought of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't raving about it, and I wasn't saying, "Oh, blimey, this is awful." But I was, I don't know.
I
I
quite
don't know.
like that about TV show though.
Yeah. Maybe.
But yeah, I
There
don't know.
were
But
some things I didn't like, though. There were something I've mentioned some of them.
okay, let's
Kate's
do.
romance is another.
Well,
I mean,
that's been hinted at in the TV series.
I know,
so
but I don't want it.
we don't want to see
I don't
it.
want to. No, I don't want to see Kate Lethbridge Stewart sitting up in bed with a chap next to her. So to speak. I don't want to see that. Don't want
I
that.
don't
Don't
mind
want
that,
it.
but the fact it's a subordinate and they're
Yes,
Yeah.
entirely
that's-
inappropriate.
that's the weird thing. Whether they'll bring that back or critique it.
That was
But
she'll have to-
these days, that's actually the sort of thing you get the sack.
absolutely,
Well, and you
absolutely.
see in her working life, she treats him differently from the others.
Yeah.
Because she's harder on him than she is on the others,
Yeah.
because of the fact that she's having
Yeah.
a relationship with him. I
Yeah.
have a horrible feeling that for Russell T Davies, that is the payoff. And it's not going to be critiqued
Yeah.
any more than that.
Yeah.
Because he has this weird thing where he's got this real blind spot, hasn't he? He does this thing about trans people. He's very pro-trans, but only pro-trans if you've gone from male to female, not the other way around. He's
But
got this weird.
is that just because that's where the discussion is? Because the other way round doesn't get talked about.
It doesn't get talked about, and that's why I think you need to represent it so that you can show that they're the same thing. He's also got a weird blind spot about people in wheelchairs. He's all very much pro people in wheelchairs. He's even put a ramp on the TARDIS, but he doesn't let anybody in a wheelchair anywhere near it.
There is a slightly awkward shot from the top of stairs looking down, and you've basically got Hujima Flip sat at the bottom of the stairs looking up.
Yeah.
There'll be a conversation. And it kind of, I thought that was going to emphasize the stairs, or that there was going to be a sort of a hover wheelchair moment,
and then it left it.
or something, but it was just
Yeah.
back entrance.
So I wonder if the Kate thing is going to be another of these weird blind spots where there's something to be addressed and it just doesn't get addressed.
Yeah.
And Unit in this are very much so. Again, it goes back to that Children of Earth thing, doesn't it? There's a politician in a room representing the government talking to an alien in a tank, and there's an organization from Doctor Who are trying to get in charge of it, trying to get on top of the situation, and aren't. And so it's not sort of absolutely the same thing, but Unit do feel a little bit like Torchwood in this, don't they?
Just a tad. They're even in a tower block.
Yeah.
Well, generally they're not. They haven't got John Barrowman there, so that's a plus.
It's definitely
Surely.
plus.
And also,
No, but you've got Kate
Definite
Lethbridge
plus.
Stewart
And also-
shagging everybody.
But she's
She's a
apart
bit
from
stuck.
apart from that quirk of her behaviour, which I really don't like. She's all right. She's good. I like.
And where's the
Gemma
Flinks or
Redgrave.
whatever it's called?
Oh yeah. Well, that would require.
well, that surprised me that they haven't
Yeah.
reused that room yet, which is again something a pleasant
yeah.
surprise, because I was expecting most of this to take place in the unit.
It might be gone.
Headquarters.
I don't know.
And
it probably will
the
be.
fact that Kate keeps calling Shirley Mrs. Bingham. No, I don't know reason why she shouldn't, but it's just irritating. Mrs. Bingham is what's happening so and so. Mrs. Bingham.
Because it hasn't come from anywhere. Never
Been used before. No.
So it's just a quirk of this particular program.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just so many odd things that just kind of keep tugging you away from committing to the story, I think.
Yeah. It pulls you out of it, doesn't it? It really
but
does.
again, if you're a non-Doctor Who viewer, would you be thrown
No.
by the fact that she's
Not at
calling
all.
her Mrs. Bigham?
Not at all.
That just becomes a cutesy kind of thing. So again, looking outside the bubble, that's not a particular distraction.
She doesn't call others Mr. or Mrs. this, that, and the other, does she? I don't know if she calls them anything.
She calls them sergeant and
Right,
lieutenant and
yeah.
various things. So that
And Shirley's
kind
a
of military
civilian. Yeah.
Whether she'd be a doctor or not, ideally she'd be a doctor, as she's the scientific.
Yeah.
That stands out a little bit, but
Because I'm forgetting she wasn't actually living on the streets and moved into. No, that's
That's the
That's just
alternative.
about
Yeah,
one
that's
story.
on the whole universe.
yes. That no longer happens. Okay.
That is, there is something slightly weird about the whole thing as well. It does that Russell T Davies thing where things get simplified, doesn't it? So, I mean, you could spend a long time talking. The whole thing about who gets to talk to the Sea Devils. Should it be the Prime Minister of the whole thing about it being London that's chosen as the location for this?
Yeah.
There's some lip service paid to that, but actually, the truth is, if that were to happen, that would cause huge political ruptions.
Well, the last time something similar happened, of course, it was when the Master was Prime Minister of Britain, and the American president-elect, so to speak, allegedly, flew in and was immediately bumped off. So quite sensibly, the American president this time is staying exactly where he is and saying, "Look, I'll talk to you via Zoom."
But it does kind of deal with that with the French, that conspiracy with the French general.
Yes, but it's weird. But that's a side thing to the main thing. The main thing seems to be forgotten, so that they can do the side thing.
Yeah.
It just
The perfidious French.
Yeah.
I think the French are going to be back. I think that's a
French. Sorry, go on, Matt.
Well, I think the kind of the clash between nations, because you don't also see sort of African nations talking up and there are kind of conflicts. I think that's going to form. I mean, there's still 3 episodes to go. 3 episodes to go.
This could lean very. It could lean very heavily towards the political. This couldn't it? It really could. I mean, there's 2 ways you could go. It could go through. You could go lean towards spectacle and Sea Devils and all that sort of thing, or it could lean towards the politics.
I think it's going to do both.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
I think the next few episodes are going to be split between Russell Tovey down under the water,
under the sea.
Do you think we're actually going
to trying to get the nations together to actually solve the pollution crisis?
Well, that's the story it's setting up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think we're actually going to see the Sea Devils base where they live? Because
I assume we're seeing it next week.
Well, you assume so, but
I know that Russell Tovey has performed underwater scenes.
Yes, but also, I mean, they're sending him down in a. I mean, again, this is where they're sending him down 5 miles. Creatures that size wouldn't be alive 5 miles under the ocean.
No.
I mean, and they even say that in the script. So it's like, how are they getting past this? Are they giving Russell Tovey? So, and in the script as well, they have set up the Sea Devils as an aquatic species that struggles to breathe in the air. Although, because they need them to be having conversations, they do. But if they are properly aquatic creatures, they are not going to be living in a base under the ocean that's got lots of oxygen in it. It's going to be an underwater thing.
Are you quibbling with the science of Doctor Who?
No,
for God's sake.
I'm quibbling with the logic of it, the consistency of it.
It kind of makes logical sense if you think of where they would have gone in order to hibernate and hide from humanity.
Yeah.
Because
and if they're reptiles,
Silurians go underground into caves. The Sea Devils go as deep as they can in the water, and presumably have bases that there'll be some sort of logical hand waving.
Would that base have been that deep when it was originally built?
Oh, yeah. And reptiles are air breathing. Remember, so they're not. They don't have gills. Reptiles don't. They're air breathing. turtles, sharks, turtles, alligators, crocodiles, all that.
Terrapins.
They breathe air, don't
Oh,
they?
sorry, the mammals. Yeah.
They're mammals, yeah. But they breathe air. They breathe air. So, but the original sea devils in the Pertwee story, they had an air-filled base on the bottom of the sea, didn't they?
Yes, and I'm assuming that's what
Not
we're going
quite
to
so
see.
deep.
I assume that's what we're going to see, but he has quite ostentatiously made them water gill, breathing creatures in this, which just I don't know why
There's a line
that
of
was.
dialogue that they don't like breathe. They don't. It's not that they don't like breathing air. It's that they don't like breathing London air. Is how they explained it
Mm,
because it's full of dust
I can sympathise.
and various things.
Yeah.
But presumably their own. Well, we'll find out. Yes.
Well, yeah. It just seems like a. It seems like it's taking a lot of weird shortcuts. It's got all this time.
It hasn't done it yet, though.
Well,
Yes.
it's got all this time, and okay, I get that you would have. I guess that I get that you would have the focus on him, and you would only learn about them bit by bit. But I'd want there to be a consistency about the things you learn. As
This
ever,
is the
as ever with
this
the
is the
Russell T
problem.
Davies thing, it's
Sorry,
like the idea trumps the consistency of the idea.
don't use that word.
Mm.
Don't use
Idea
that word.
or
No,
consistency.
trumps. It upsets me.
The
This is the
idea,
problem, isn't it? Yeah,
the idea
this is
takes
the
precedence over the consistency of its delivery.
It's
And
this is the problem,
presidents,
isn't it? With yes,
now
all
I've used
right.
presidents and Trump.
Stop. This is the problem with reviewing it a couple of episodes at a time, isn't it? Because we can only talk about what's in front of us. Over the next 3 episodes, this has got great potential to turn out to be something amazing, but it's equally got great potential to turn out to be something absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Um,
And so
from-
our job with the 2 episodes is to try and assess whether the trajectory of what's being told makes the former or the latter more
I don't
likely.
think that we have any evidence either way on that. I think, as I say, quite equally, it could go either way for me.
Yeah, and I think there are arguments of either way, but for me, I think
Yeah.
it's looking more positive than I thought it would be because of the shape of the 2 episodes, the setting, the
Okay.
look, and also what the story's focusing on and the sort of playfulness that it's
Mm.
tackling pollution, and the fact that they said we're going to take you basically down to the Marianas Trench. That kind of immediately makes me think, well, they're going to change up the setting again. We're going to see something interesting. We're going to see like more of their civilization. And that's what I liked about the Chibnall Silurian story.
Well,
Was
that's what
the
I'm
fact
thinking.
that
Is that's where we're
the
going,
fact
isn't it?
that it went underground. It actually went underground, and we actually saw the Silurian base, and I found that quite exciting.
Oh, I thought for 1 minute you were talking about the Chibnall Sea Devil story.
I didn't mind the Chibnall Sea Devil story either.
You
I mean,
didn't?
it was a
Blimey.
bit of a mess, but
Yeah.
But I think
Okay.
had ambition.
if you've got 2
Okay.
episodes of 5 in front of you, what you've got to assess is how engaged with it you are and how desperate you are to see what comes next. And like I said at the start, I was relatively engaged, but I'm not desperate to see what happens next.
Well,
So
I've just
on
rung
me,
up my
at
mother
least.
today and rung my mother today and asked her to keep for me this week's and the next couple of weeks' issues of Radio Times. So there must be some interest there from me. I'm going to want to add that to my collection.
Fair enough.
That's
Cheapskate.
such a
Dreadful cheap.
1970s thing to do.
Yeah, just
I'll tell you
dreadful
one thing.
cheapskate.
I'll tell you one thing I really liked about it is the whole. So before it broadcast, there was this great big thing about, oh, they're going to be Homo Aqua, and fans were up in arms about Russell T Davies imprinting himself on the naming of the Sea Devils and all this.
Yeah.
And actually, that whole thing I thought was dealt with brilliantly because it was like,
all right.
yeah, they were given a stupid name in the first place, and we keep giving them stupid names. And that was basically it, wasn't
Make
it?
the gag out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
really well done.
I would
So-
I would
and-
say, I would say for all the messages and all the morality in it, I am still kind of on humanity's side with it. I think dumping dumping a load of plastic is overkill. I mean, I think I'm still thinking the sea devils, the Homo acra, should be more patient about,
And let's be honest, when it comes to it, the sea is like 72% of the Earth's surface, did they say?
Yeah.
There's not that
Yeah.
much plastic. It's not going to make that much
There's gonna
difference,
be
is it?
no,
Oh, hang
no.
on. Did you see that plastic thing in Praxeus? Come on.
Yeah, and the plastic floats on the top, doesn't it? Because we know that it all gathers in
It's
in
it's the
plastic water.
microplastics
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
microplastics that's the problem. It's not the Coke bottles and all that. It's the microplastics.
Which are in our systems now because
Absolutely, they are. Absolutely.
I mean they always were going to be. Do you know that was when you first got microplastics in toothpaste? Do you remember when they added them to toothpaste and the toothpaste suddenly
No.
went gritty? And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And yeah, I changed brands because of that. And that was before I even knew what it was and what the issues were going to be. I just thought it was a weird and bad idea in the first place.
Quite right too. Well done,
Yeah.
JR.
Right, is there anything more we want to bring up about this? I'm not sure there is, to be honest.
I
I would ask
quite
that
like
we,
direction.
Yeah.
I quite the way
Yeah,
the camera
yeah.
kind of prowled around, quite conspiratorial. You know, when the
I
conspiracy
didn't like the music. The music was all that military.
bit too
boom,
much,
boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. It was, yeah. Irrespective of whether it's too loud, it just music that.
But John liked the direction. To
Yeah,
try
no,
and
I
avoid
didn't.
direction
try and
was-
avoid another Steve undercutting of.
Well, that's only one aspect of the direction, and I've got to be honest, I thought there was too much of that. I thought it does. Do you know what I hate is when this is the thing I've hated on telly for years and years and years.
It West Wings a lot of it, but tries to make walking.
No, if
Yeah.
it West Winged it, it would be fine. But it does
Yes.
the other thing, the thing where you want it to be like the West Wing, but everybody's sitting down. So you get the camera starts here and it goes around to here, and then it runs out of track, so it starts coming back around. And I'm just thinking, if they're sitting and talking, and if what they're saying is interesting enough, you don't need to be doing this idiot thing with the camera. And it does a
It's the
lot
sort
of
of
that.
thing you didn't get with the multi-camera studio, was it? Where
It's
you've
the
got
kind
cameras
of
on
thing
everybody.
put in when you don't have enough confidence in the actors to keep the
Yeah.
audience's attention without the distraction of the camera moving around on a track. Move the camera when it's appropriate to do so, like in the West Wing, and if it's not appropriate to do so, just leave it where it is.
I don't know, God, because
And also, everything's blue.
stylist.
They put this blue filter on it, which makes the whole thing look like a hideous, cheap 1990s TV program.
I was going to suggest we don't score each episode; that we leave it till we've seen it all,
Ooh.
because I don't think it's very meaningful. I have no idea what I think of these 2 episodes.
Oh, I haven't
I'm
got a
gonna wait
piece of
and see
paper
where it
ready for.
goes.
I haven't got a piece of paper for the
Good.
scores.
Good.
I was going to ask us to give it a score at the end of the whole thing.
Good. Agreed.
Yeah, it's a
That
serial.
doesn't mean I'll necessarily be on for the other episodes.
Well, no, who knows? Well, whoever's on the final episode will score that.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to be reviewing episode 5 if they've not watched the first 4, are they?
Probably
Unless
not.
we can get hold of Lee.
Yes, do it.
We'll see if we can get hold of Lee for the
You
final
can see if you
episode.
can watch the last 5 minutes,
That's
and
it.
that's
Just-
it.
just-
Lee probably
yeah.
hasn't been watching it in case he's spoiled.
Yeah.
I think he avoids anything just in case.
Yeah, don't watch it; might be spoiled.
Yeah.
Totally.
Love it.
I mean,
Bloody
the Witch
da.
of the Waterfall is episode 4, right?
Yes,
That's
What?
a lovely name for an episode.
What? Have these episodes got individual titles then?
yes,
Yes,
they're not on screen, though.
though.
Right. Oh, right.
Like
So
American
I'll be-
TV.
Brussels given
I
out
should-
in latest one, is it? I think, and then
Okay, is it? All right. I'll look at that then. The Witch of the Waterfall.
Yes, I like
Bloody
that.
hell.
Although the other 4 episode titles, 2 of them are just
What-
incredibly dull, and 2 of them are.
What were
incredibly-
these 2 called?
The first one's Homo Aqua.
It's the second one, the Plastic Apocalypse.
yes,
Yeah, that's a terrible title, isn't it?
that's fun.
I mean,
Sounds like it's part of Flux.
yeah, it's just it
It's
doesn't
the
have.
the last episode was terrible.
The
What's
end
that?
of the war. The end
The
of
end
the
of the
war.
war.
And the next one, the middle one, is called The Deep.
Well, that does sort of suggest.
I mean, it
Well,
suggests they're
that's where
going
it's going.
down. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is, in the Sea Devils, when they went down, they ended up in a submarine.
Hmm.
And, you know,
In the end.
yeah.
I
So
don't think-
we didn't
I
we
don't
didn't get
Well,
to see.
Pertwee went down in a bathysphere, didn't he?
Well,
And
that's
then
it.
ended up.
And so that's what I'm worried about this time, because he's going to go down in a bathysphere again, isn't he? Or, you know, something of that
Yeah.
But I
ilk.
don't think Russell T Davies will be able to resist
I don't think so either, but
showing a Sea Devil base
yeah.
with CG with proper visual effect.
Yeah.
Like
I think so, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Although tragically, I understand the Merca was cut from episode 3.
No,
Genuinely.
no. There's Merca in this. There's
Oh,
I'm sure. Didn't I read that there's a Merca to come? They don't name it.
Someone said with Pete McTighe, he tried to put it in, but they had to cut it from episode 3.
Will it just walk past in the
okay.
background?
Oh,
See?
maybe I just
Yeah.
Just walk past in the background with no mention of it.
Conga past.
Yes.
maybe I just caught half of that and didn't realise that it had been cut.
speaking of Pete McTighe, the season 21 trailer with
Destination Daleks thing.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's one of the better ones. I mean, Peter Davison performs it really well.
And it's nice to have one again, because for the last couple of releases we haven't had them, have we?
Oh, yeah.
No, because Pete McTighe was quite busy, obviously.
Well, yeah.
All right.
But also, it's also about who's still around, isn't it? And able to, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, you get
No,
Tom
no,
Baker
'cause-
sat in the chair.
Yeah, well, one of them was Sylvan Soap. They couldn't
Yeah,
do that
yeah.
one, so not quite.
Yeah. Right. Anything
Well,
else,
there we
or are
are.
we going to just
Give it a
wrap it
score
up
out of
there?
10.
No, we're not giving it a
I
score.
know.
So,
Roll on Sunday for the next 2 episodes.
but I mean, we could sum up and say, I guess what we think so far and what our expectations. Just a sort of summing up. For me, I'm like right on the. Well, I'm just trying to sort of introduce the concept. So I'm on the fence. Like I say, I basically enjoyed it, but I just had a lot of caveats. There seemed to be a lot of decisions that seemed to go against making it as good as it could be. So I'm kind of on the fence. And like Steve said, it could go either way. It could become brilliant across the next 3 episodes, or it could just go down the toilet. Couldn't
We'll
resist.
see. We'll
And
see.
you know, so I'm completely open to enjoying it. I hope I do. I always hope I will enjoy things. I don't see the point of watching something if you don't hope to enjoy it. But at the moment, I just feel slightly deflated by the execution so far.
Do you know, I was in some years ago, I was in a convention, Dimensions convention, and on the Saturday night,
Was
that
it a
week's
quad?
Doctor Who episode was put
Was
on.
it a
No,
quad?
it was
Was it at quad?
no, it was in Newcastle.
Okay.
And that it was the one.
I got your advert for quadding though, Steve.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Forest of the Night was that week's episode which we saw, and I thought it was dreadful. I thought it was absolutely shockingly, but I didn't like that one at all. And I, as I used to do in those days, made sure everybody knew what I thought about it. And Robert Dick, who is a good, yes, all right. Robert Dick, who is a good friend of mine, said to me, he said, the thing is, he says, you need to shut up. And basically, you're hating this with such glee. And that's the problem, that you're enjoying hating it. And I've heard a lot of that over the last year, of people enjoying hating things. And there's one podcast in particular that I won't name, and they've been systematically rubbishing all of they've seen from Doctor Who in the last year, and they've told us that this one was going to be rubbish weeks before it came on. And they're people who I would normally respect very much, but
would you?
Yeah, I think, yeah, and I've been disappointed by that, and not just from them, but in general.
They just got lost in the Warren. I think could we?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the racists. Never mind.
I know you don't edit these podcasts, but every time Steve makes an anecdote about the past, could we have like the Vision on music behind it?
No. It was the Hovis music. It was.
Newell Symphony, Dvorak.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's every
They
episode,
filmed
and
that in the West Country.
Yes, it's Shaftesbury, isn't it?
Shaftesbury,
Yeah.
Shaftesbury.
Yeah.
Mm,
I was
that's
there
right.
a couple of years ago.
yeah.
Lovely place.
I went there
Absolutely
on
lovely.
Boxing Day and followed a mummer's group
Oh.
around.
Oh, Jesus.
A
At least
mummy's
Steve comes
group.
up with relevant anecdotes, Matt. That was
Well, it
tough.
just it taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson not to be negative with delight, as it were. You know.
Yes.
Yes.
My anecdote was I went to Shaftesbury and did something. Your anecdote was I went to Shaftesbury. Just
No,
pointing
his
that out.
anecdote was about going to Newcastle for a Doctor Who convention.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and being shown up by a friend who said this is not a nice attitude to have.
You
I
can
mean,
have
that
some
friend's
Wicker Man
name-
music, Matt.
Matt,
Newcastle.
no, I'm going to save you to last, Matt, because you're more positive, and I like to end on a positive note. John,
I thought it got better with the second episode as well. The first episode I thought was a bit rough between the comedy and the drama. Second episode, I thought the negotiation standoffs worked really well. The kind of character tension was really built nicely. And I did love that plastic apocalypse set piece. So I am quite invested in what happens next.
fair enough. Right, Steve.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing the next two episodes on Sunday. I mean, you said you were on the fence, JR. I don't even know whether I'm on the fence or not. I don't know what to make of it yet. There's a lot of things I liked. There's a lot of things I didn't like. Let's see what happens.
So you're on the fence about being on the fence.
I am on the fence about being on the fence. Yeah.
Nice, like it. Matt.
I think it's about trajectories for me. I think I was expecting it to be an extension of the last series, which I liked, but felt cheaper than it should have been. And actually, I was surprised to see it as expansive as it was. So even
It did look expensive, didn't it?
yeah, expensive and expansive. It did something different. Did something different in both episodes, and that bodes well for the future.
Yeah.
So I'm actually quite excited to see something like this on a Sunday night that's not a crime drama, that's saying something interesting about pollution in an interesting way, in a playful way. I mean, there are niggles about individual relationships, certain performances, the tone, but they're all RTD stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's written by him or produced by him, show run by him. You can't get away from that. If you accept that, I think this has potential to be a good project for RTD to do, and something that could catch fire on a Sunday evening.
Actually, I tell you what
I'm positive.
What we've not mentioned yet is this weird decision to show it 2 and 2 and 1 on Sunday nights. But maybe we'll talk about that a little bit next time, because that does feel like a slightly odd decision.
It feels like it's been designed for a 1 week.
Yeah, one
Being
one
stretched
tonight
across the
for
week.
But it also feels like they've struggled to schedule it, and they weren't sure whether to do it in the new year. And it feels like
you weren't on the
from what people have said, it sounds like it's better than they all thought it was going
I
to
think
be.
it feels like it's to do with contracts, doesn't it, as to when it was shown? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the BBC have done a slight class on it. In other words, they've kind of thrown it out at a time to get rid of it rather than to showcase it, because it just seems to have fallen in a really weird space. But maybe we'll get into that a bit more next time. Let's leave it there for now. Just a note on the sort of background of the podcasting. Due to our schedules, or mainly because of mine, because of my work schedule, because it's Christmas, so it's our busiest time of year, this review will be a day earlier next week, the review of 3 and 4, and then a day earlier again the week after that. So if you're watching it on Wednesday night this week, you'll be watching it on Tuesday night next week, and Monday night for the final week, and the audio versions will follow the morning after. So that's just where the podcast will fall. Right, until those things happen, I was JR.
I was John.
I was Matt.
I was Steve.
And we will speak again soon.